So, how long have you been beating your wife? Are you always this stupid? What do you think, I'm an idiot? Okay, I have a hint for you. Those are not power phrases, but power phrases that will help you ask better questions. So let's talk about what a power phrase is, because you need a good power phrase to ask a good question. Sometimes, okay, let me give you a story. So you show up, you get there to do your, you're doing a public speaking event, and the manager doesn't show up. And so now you've got to do all the setup yourselves. You've got to get everybody in, you've got to get it organized, and you start your meeting late. Now, do you want to start with an apology? We've just been talking about apologies. Apologies are good, but what if you start with a question instead? How many people here, raise your hand if you've ever had a day when someone didn't show up, didn't do what they were supposed to do, and you found yourself doing your job plus theirs too. What will happen is hands will shoot up in the argument, and you can say, I'm having one of those days today. So instead of weakening your stance, you can draw other people in, and you can help them start asking questions of themselves and help them feel more connected to you and to your plight. That's what powerful questions can do. Asking a job description or asking something that's very vague, like asking an applicant for a job, say, tell me about yourself. We've all had that question, right? And if you're going on a job, be prepared to answer it. But what if you ask instead, tell me about your most valuable skill? Okay, do you think you'll get more out of that answer? Probably. Be careful not to lead somebody. When they're, if you really want to know what they're thinking, what they're feeling, ask a question that does not lead or direct to the answer. Did you hear Joe tell Frida that he would give her stats in exchange for a kiss? It would be less leading just to say, what did you hear Joe tell Frida about the reports? Let them tell you what they heard, and you will get more specific information. Let's see, to get the listener involved. That's what we talked about, the whole raise your hand if you, that whole thing. You want to get your listener involved. You want to find out what somebody knows. You want to make sure you're clear. You want to gather information, and you want to regain balance in a conversation. Power phrase questions will help you do that. Things like, have you ever had the experience of? What did you do when? Wouldn't you like to? Can you imagine doing? Okay, if you want to find out what somebody knows, how do you do this process? Or what is your understanding of? What do you know about? Okay, if you want to learn, if somebody knows, means what, okay, somebody says something to you, and you want to know if they really mean what they say. What I heard you say is, did I understand that correctly? Let me make sure I understand you correctly. My understanding is, are you really committing to, yep. Are you saying that? Okay. Instead of saying, well, I have the report on Tuesday, are you committing to get this report to me by Tuesday? The word, ask them. Instead of, do you understand, or do you have any questions, or do you get it? What's a power phrase that we could use for that? Okay, let me make sure my instructions are clear. What do you understand that I'm saying? What questions remain? Or what else would you like to know? My impression of your situation is this. Am I right? Let's get clarification. I heard you say, right? If you're trying to gather information, you could say, I'm interested in learning more about. Or let me ask you this. Help me understand this part. Could you help me with? Could you expand on this for me? Ask sincere questions. Don't ask insincere questions. Don't ask leading questions. Don't ask questions that you're confident they're going to refuse. Don't interrogate. Don't fire off question after question. Give them a chance to reflect, to respond. And as we learned earlier, you listen. If things are out of balance, a question can help bring things back into balance. Have a happy Power Phrase day. Talk soon.